ESPN FC is presented by Frito-Lay. Chelsea are in trouble going into the start of the new season. They've got a lot of injuries, particularly up front. Of course, Nkunku out for a couple of months, it's suggested, because of a knee problem. Frank, Jules and Shaka still with us. Frank, how concerned are you with your Chelsea ways going into the start of the new season?
Well, I am, especially with Nkunku being injured. You know, he started very well the preseason, scoring goals and being, you know, adopted by all the fans and the players, and easily settled.
Well,
it's his left knee, I think.
Well, Mykhailo Mudryk came on the left-hand side and replaced him. Of course, another big money signing from last year. And actually, as the game went on, looked pretty good. But if Nkunku was going to play through the middle, potentially, because they haven't really got an out-and-out what we would call striker, then that's going to be a big blow. I mean, Nico Jackson can play through there. He's very quick. He'll play in the last shoulder. But that leaves a void on one of the wider positions where we know Nkunku can play any of those positions in the front three. So just another blow at the start of the season for Mauricio Pochettino.
And a huge blow, Jules.
I mean, it's just incredible when you think that Christopher Nkunku has been waiting a year for this move to happen at Chelsea. He basically agreed a year ago to join them, to now arrive at the club, start so well, and then have that injury, the knee injury that I think Frank is right. It's more 3 months than 2. It's just very cruel and sad in the same way. The thing is, do you rely on what you have for now? The Nico Jackson playing as a 9, you know, potentially having maybe a first number 9 in there, or do you go and sign a Vlahovic, which is the name that they've been linked to before? Maybe a swap plus money for Lukaku, for example, things like that with Juventus. But then what happens when Nkunku comes back? Then you really have a lot. Okay, you have a lot of depth, but you also have a lot of players, and not everybody can play. It's tricky, and it's certainly a situation that they didn't really want to be in, because I think the idea certainly was to start the Premier League this weekend with maybe a Nico Jackson, Christopher Nkunku front two. So Vlahovic is an option. We mentioned a few weeks at the start of the summer that they really liked him. They were keen. He ticks all the boxes, especially for the new ownership, in terms of his age, the potential, the left foot, everything that he can bring to a Pochettino team is there. But then do you go again and spend that money? But at least, I guess, you get rid of Lukaku, which you want to, and Lukaku wants to get out. So maybe, you know, it's not a bad idea to do that swap if you can. And then when Nkunku comes back, then you see what you do.
Is Vlahovic the answer, Shaq?
I think he's not a direct replacement for Nkunku, no question. He's a totally different skill set. But while Chelsea has a very deep squad, as Jules was saying, let's remember how poor Chelsea's goal scoring was last season. So you could quite easily make an argument for a complete overhaul. Even though, thanks to Saudi Arabia, they've recouped a lot of that money, thanks to Arsenal, and taken habits off their hands. Again, they got money in that I certainly didn't think they would this summer. You could quite easily make an argument for bringing in additional firepower, and if that means a swap deal with Lukaku, all the better. But it's still a blow. Losing Nkunku is a blow. Vlahovic coming in is a wonderful finisher, but not like for like, not the creative force that Nkunku is.
But if you bring in somebody that's less flexible. Don't forget they're going to lose Lukaku. They're hoping they get some money from. They've lost Havertz, whether you think he was the greatest thing since sliced bread or not. He played through the middle. So they have 2 bodies out. They have signed these players. But the one thing with Nkunku is if you bring in Vlahovic or somebody else, is that he's really flexible in terms of, and he's adaptable. You can play him with somebody, you can play him through the middle, you can play him on the left-hand side. So really, I think Chelsea will have to do something. I think they probably will, and just take it on the chin that they have to mix and match that as the season goes on when Nkunku's fit again, because if he could only just play in one position, then that's more of a problem. But that's not him. He can play in 2 or 3 different positions in that front line. That's why I think Chelsea will probably need to act and go and get somebody.
Meanwhile, well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.